Hello, everybody. So today we are doing, I've forgotten the issue number, part 5 of the tractor. Again, it's going to be a slow build today, although we will end up with something worthwhile at the end of it. So I'm very, very lucky today. I have got 4 guests to help me. The first one is Horlicks.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone this evening?
So how are you then? What have you been up to?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, just had a nice weekend away at Alton Towers, back and caught up with the tractor, ready, which I'll obviously probably go through later. But yeah, ready to start the build. So yeah, I've been missing this since the beginning, really, and glad to be back in the seat. So
good. I mean, a bit of a spoiler alert for everybody. Yeah, Horlicks' tractor is very good. So our next guest, I can't remember what order I was going to bring them in. So guys, if you're hearing this and I get it in the wrong order, I apologize. Our next guest is someone who is going to be building along with us. It's Fleetwood.
Hello, everyone.
Although I say you're building along, but you haven't actually got the parts yet.
Yeah. No. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll get the parts. I'm at Shan's this weekend, so I'm back at mine next week. So it's all madness at the moment. So we'll get there eventually, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so my next guest, someone I think he's a little bit crazy myself. He's not just building one. In fact, he's not even building 2. He's actually going to be building 3 tractors. It's Adrian Langley.
Yes, I am. I'm certainly going to have a go at it.
Yeah, I just hope. Well, I think it is going to be easy enough to build because we're breaking it down into tiny chunks. Yeah, each chunk might look a bit slow, but I think the end result is going to be fantastic. So my 4th guest today to make the what should we call 5 of us? The
Fab 5.
Yeah, okay, the high 5. Someone that we've brought in because his knowledge on anything is always worth listening to.
Yes,
very, really less than awesome. It's Dave Say.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening. Good evening to you all up here. Now then, yeah, my knowledge, well, limited really, but I did spend an awful long time driving tractors, and I did spend an awful long time fixing my own vintage tractors. So I do know a bit about them, really. And I'm envious of you guys that are building them. And would I love to build one? But unfortunately, I can't.
It's a shame, Dave, because we'd really love to have you building yours as well. And we'll all pile around yours one day, and we'll all plough your fields for you and cut your grass and lift up things that you need lifting up. And I'm pretty sure between 5, well, with Adrian's 3 tractors and my 2, what's that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tractors, I'm pretty sure we could do a quick job on anything. Right, so what I'll do is I'll quickly go through the comments, then I'm going to go slightly backwards and just do a bit more on last week because we had a bit of a addition which I've been working on. And then we'll start on this week's build. So gold star for first comment goes to Dave Say. Hi all, hope you're all okay this cool autumn evening. It was freezing this morning.
Yeah.
I was wearing this sweatshirt with my company jumper over the top, with my coat on, with a scarf and my hat, and I was still cold.
It was really cold.
Oh, it was well, Alexa told me it was 0 degrees.
Yeah.
So we've got Chris Davies here as well. Always nice to see you, Chris. We've got Love Minis. Hello, Love Minis. We've got Love Minis says she's going to lurk for a while. That's absolutely fine. And we've got James Tubridy. How are you, my good friend? And then we've got Dave Mill. And that's the people chatting in the chat for now. So right, so last week we were looking at modifications. Now I have found quite a few modifications which I'm going to be looking at over the coming weeks. My printer's kind of mental the last couple of weeks because I'm printing parts off for these guys and bits and bobs. So I'm getting there, but I'll show you the mods. But there is one that I've got, which I can't remember who found. I think it was Adrian or Fleetwood. And it's a new kind of a jack, and it is absolutely fantastic. So let me just steal the limelight and take this camera. So I printed these off, but I've not. I had problems with my printer. I've got to figure out which one it is. Sorry, guys. Right. So I did have problems with my printer. So what I actually did was I turned the flow up. So these red bits have actually come out a little bit too thick. So but basically this is the jack, and it's a lot simpler than the one that I showed you last week, and it prints off in 4 pieces, and we've decided 3 colors. So this is the main jack body. None of these require any supports whatsoever. This one, obviously, you print upright like that. And this is the main body. This, I can't remember the actual file names, but we've got like housing. What was that?
What's
That's
that?
like T-Rex playing the ukulele.
Yeah.
Probably the bike.
So this is basically got a hole going through the middle, and I got a feeling that hole is you can either put a screw in it to make it like a fixing point, or it might just be there just to save on the filament. You've also got holes on the side, and it's also got little notches in one side. You've then got the handle. If you remember on the last ones I had this little tiny black bit that you had to kind of fish in there and get it in the right place. This one's got it built in, and you can see it actually prints that way up. So it's slightly flat on the bottom, but it's absolutely fine. And then we've got the cap, which we decided was going to be black, but equally you could do it in red to make it look like all one piece.
Yeah.
And all you do is you ever so slightly fiddly, but not too fiddly. You pop this bit into the top. You then, let's see if I've got this the right way around. I think that's upside down. There we go. So that goes into there anywhere you want. Carefully slide that into there. Then make sure that's positioned correctly. Bring the top down. It's like a push fit connection, and that will hold that in. I might have this upside down. So you just lift it. Oops. These are a little bit tight because, like I say, the tolerances were a little bit off. So when it's locked down in this position, that's not going anywhere. As soon as you lift that handle up, you can see that then goes down. So you can adjust it to the height you want. You then lock it into place, and that's not going anywhere. So I think on the whole, Dave Mill says he'd call them axle stands. So I think on the whole, they're much better. So now I've got to try and find them, haven't I? So I will post the link in.
You can actually get jacks like that. They're like cart jacks.
Yes, I've seen them on eBay. Fleetwood might have. I think it was Fleetwood. Did you give me the link for the? Do you know what? I might have shut them down.
I think it was for me.
Oh, it was you, was it? Basically,
Yeah, I think so.
them on eBay. I've gone and shut the link down now because I wasn't going to buy them. They come with things like cargo nets and all sorts, but that's basically the jack. And these ones, I mean, this one I have done, but these ones I've got to see they're really, really stiff. So I've got to get a file in there and do some work on them all. But I am going to be reprinting them. So I'll go through some of the mods that I found and why I've selected them. So forgive me for this. I am totally useless at the screen. I'm sorry, if screen's going to go a little bit kaleidoscope now. Right, so the first mod I found, these are in no particular order. Oops, not that one. Right, so this is the IBC container, which I'm going to do for no reason other than I like it. I think it's brilliant. So you've got this cage is going to be silver. You've got the black base. You've got this little nozzle that comes out the side and the cap. And then the inside container, I'm going to do that in a sort of a cleary see-through blue. And then at random point, probably sort of round about where that top bit of the cage is, I'm going to switch the filament out and put clear. So it look like partly filled container. Sorry, just bear with me a sec, guys. I've got a print on the go, and it's just switched to a bit of a critical point. I'll just do 2 secs.
That's all right. It's even got holes in, so you can pick it up with your forklift as the IBC container.
That's correct, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a pallet underneath.
Whether they fit or not, I don't know, but we'll see. But we could perhaps always modify. We could modify the modification if we wanted to.
You can modify your forks to slide along a bar.
Yeah.
So they can go wider or narrower.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few things we can do.
As in the real thing.
The next mod I've looked at is, I've not looked at the files on this, but if you look at the picture, there's lots and lots of different little things.
Wow.
And I'm quite liking the spades and shovels and things. So, you know, we can print all of those off. And what's that, some kind of jerry can there?
No, they like a truck, the truck, you know, where you put underneath the tyres, stop it rolling.
Stop and rolling. Okay. So we've got a spadey fork. That's a fork.
Fork, yeah.
We've got a little spade there. More spades. Bottles.
Yeah. Green bottles.
That looks like a sewing machine rolling pin.
No, it's out of a garage. It's
it's a grinding wheel.
Grinder.
Yeah.
It's a grinder.
Oh, grinder. There we go. So what's that? A cool box?
Cool box, yeah.
Yeah.
And these are just the actual models of them rather than photos.
Yeah.
So, you know, little bits of small detail, just enough to change things from a really good model to a really great model. So that one I'm liking, and I actually I've learned to love this orange box at the top. Hey, this thing is still a work in progress. Everything else, you know, might be so. Basically, what it means is he could add more stuff in the future. So that's always a good sign, that one. So we've got 1 to 10 scale jerry can. We've got a beer crate. Who was it who liked the beer crate? Was it you, Adrian, or Fleetwood?
I was thinking, well, being a red one, but then having white bottles, being milk bottles.
Milk bottles. So we've got a toolbox here. We've got a little screwdriver. We've got an axe. Might not need that if we download the other file. Now, I know somebody who likes this one. So table, a Euro keg 30 litre. I mean, some of these you might think are not suitable for yours. This is a trailer that I've spotted that I'd like to see if we can do anything with it. It'll be a low priority.
Yes, I've seen that as well.
Yeah, it just appealed to me as a potential mod. These little ramps I like. Whether you want to use them in lieu of the jacks or as well as the jacks, you know, it's up to you. The snow plow. Now that's going to be a little bit of a project for me. That's not designed to go on the tractor, but I'm wondering, I mean, obviously you'll have to look at what we're doing today to decide, but today we're going to be doing a counterbalance. and I wonder if we could use that with the counterbalance. We'll have a little bit of framework. So maybe I'm just looking mainly at the plough and the red framework.
Yeah, you could add it to it, couldn't you?
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not responding to comments because I can't actually see them at the moment.
That's all right. Chris Davis was on about we need some animals to complete the farm.
Really? That could work. So I'll put that on my little list of things to look up.
What about milk churn, Penny?
Pardon?
What about milk churn?
Milk? Oh, yes. Because even if we can't find them in the correct scale, we can always change the size of things. So, you know, it wouldn't be a problem. So, was it you interested in this one? This is just a cabin stove, isn't it? But surely that table's obviously available because that's 3D printed. So I wonder if that could be useful.
Yeah, the only thing I said about was deck chairs, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So a little kind of WD-40. You know, completely lost with that. Everyone needs WD-40, don't they?
Yeah.
So now we're looking at these forks, and they look extremely simple. And that actually looks like that is the universal hook. So all we'd really need is this part there. What would you use this for, Dave?
Raking.
That's a slightly different universal hook, Penny.
Okay, fair enough then.
Yeah, you'd use it for muck raking.
Right.
Backing up into a muck stack.
You could actually point this downwards then, would you?
Yeah, you'd have to point it slightly downwards and drive in reverse and then obviously collect muck. I mean, in the days of yore, they used to collect hay that way.
Yeah, when you used to pick the hay up with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. So you'd perhaps pick up big heavy hay bales.
You could slide it under hay bales and what have you, but generally nowadays you just use 1 or 2 spikes.
Right. Okay, so do you think this could perhaps be modified so it's got less spikes on it? Would that be useful?
Depends on the size of your hay bales.
Right. Okay. So next we've got, now I'm not going to build this on stream because it's got the potential to do harm, mainly because of this bit here. But this is a lawnmower attachment, and we love it. We absolutely love it, don't we?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone that doesn't laugh when they see this, but basically. I've actually got some guys on the case at work building me a new blade for mine, but that essentially is the blade with 2 X-Acto blades on the end. So if anybody wants this, I'll give you. I'm quite happy to tell you where to find it. I do not endorse anyone building it, and likewise, if you get hurt while you're building, while you're using it, that is off my shoulders, off my hands.
In the trade, you'd call it a topper.
A topper, right?
Because it would top the grass.
Right. So
yes.
This is Adrian's beer crates and bottles. So again, I wonder if perhaps I would like to find. Do you remember the old style milk bottles, the ones with the tall tops that would slowly taper in?
Yeah.
With a silver top on them.
Yeah, and you used to shove your thumb in on the top to open them, and then you'd use that bit of silver for the lid.
Yeah. Sorry, somebody wants to say hello quickly.
Let's Sparkles.
Hello.
Hello, Sparkles.
Sparkles.
She is in a grumpy mood tonight.
Sparkles.
Oh, grumpy, eh? We got a hamster with mixed emotions, have we?
Yeah, she always does when she gets moved from mine to Sean's or Sean's.
Oh, I see. She doesn't travel so well.
No, and she gets a bit Incredible Hulk-like, if you know what I mean, for about half an hour, doesn't she?
Yeah, right. How does she cope? So she travels with you. Is it your hamster? Is it?
It's Sean's.
Okay. So what? And you take it to yours with you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we can't leave her on her own here, so we've got the same cage.
Oh, you both go to yours, and then you both go to hers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you now. Right, okay. So yeah, so it's just the travel she doesn't like then.
Yeah, she gets a bit grumpy sometimes.
Oh, bless her. Bless her.
Yeah, come see Mum. Yeah.
I remember I used to take my dog out in the car many years ago, at least twice a week, take him to the beach. And he used to absolutely love jumping. As soon as I put his little seatbelt around him, I'd like a little harness. And he used to go absolutely ballistic. He absolutely loved it. And he'd be in the front seat, passenger seat next to me with the seatbelt through it. And one day I took him to the vet. He was so excited. Get little harness on, into the car, seatbelt on. We jumped out and he kind of looked around. This is a new place. Now I took him through the front door and he just froze, but it was too late then because this vet has a nice smooth floor. So you can just drag him in by the lead. And he was very grumpy with me for about 2 days after that. He did not like going to the vets. I think they can smell not nice things in there, can't they?
Yeah.
When I lived in Milton Keynes, when I had Gypsy, I used to take her most days into the centre MK, and it used to be on the 300 bus, which was the Mercedes Citaro.
300. I know the 300. I can't remember where it goes though.
It's
railway station to. Oh, yeah, it's one of the main big ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it sort of does railway station, centre MK, Broughton, and all round sort of towards the M1 side of the Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
And, all the drivers knew me with Gypsy, and I was always to sit on the bus, and she used to sit in the lucky track and greet everybody on the bus. It was quite funny, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to steal the screen again.
Yeah, go on then.
I'm going to show you a new. Oh, that's right. We just lost something. That's all right. Settings. So, what I have been doing mostly in the last week is playing with flexible materials. So the little pause that I just made, this is actually Adrian's leveler piece, which you won't see for a while. And this is going to go on the side. And this is quite stiff, actually. The filament that I've got, I think it's got flexible filaments are rated by a shore hardness. This shore hardness is something like 98, which is about the equivalent of when you buy a pair of shoes, the heels will be about this hard. So it's got some flex to it, but it's not a massive amount of flex. If I compare it to Fleetwood's filament, this is the same piece, but you can see, in fact, if I show you the long piece, the quick video I made on Facebook about this was brilliant, wasn't it? This is Fleetwood's flexible piece.
Oh, wow.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So I just messaged Fleetwood and I said, contact your guy, get as many rolls as you possibly can. I want every single roll. And he said, sadly, he's got none left. So this is a side by side. I know it's different. Actually, let's do a side by side.
I think mine must be the same as Fleetwood's.
Right.
Been playing with mine.
This is Fleetwood's, and this is Adrian's, and you can see it's very much like comparing skin on young and old people. If you're young and you nip your skin, it goes back straight away, doesn't it? But if you've got a pensioner, the skin. See, my skin's at that age where it's not quite so quick. It's fairly quick, but it's definitely not 90-year-old skin. And this is the same. If you look at Fleetwood's, see it goes straight back. Whereas this one is a lot harder, but it does spring back to its original position. So the trouble is, a better filament is more money. This one is, but then this is where I'm actually annoyed, Fleetwood. This one is £32 for 750 grams. This one that Fleetwood got was £12 for 800 grams. But I think your guy does ex-liquidation stock, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But the appearance is pretty much the same. But I've got to be honest with you, with the flexible, like the tires, they don't need to be so flexible. You just need them flexible enough to get on. So this is Fleetwood's front tractor tire. So you see there's a little bit of detail on there, and that flexes really nicely.
Wow.
But we've played with the settings. This we tried it with 5 walls with no infill, and it just failed. I don't know if I've still got the actual piece, if I threw it away. But it was oh, here we go. This is what five walls looks like. And it's just, I actually cut it so that I could fold it inside out and sort of diagnose the problem a little bit more. It failed a little bit on the top, and it failed on one of the details. So where it actually failed was one of the walls where there was no support. One of the walls fell through, so there was less wall width on it. And this is what we discussed last week with Chris. You need sort of 5 walls in order to get 3, but it turns out filament 3 isn't enough. So this one's actually been printed with 7 walls. So the actual hole, the gap inside is about that much. Can you see where that line is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the outside there it's a little bit thin there. So don't go sort of poking things into it.
No.
But it's okay. But that's the tire inside out. You can see where the wall was failing there. So you need a much thicker wall. And then this is his trailer tire, which looks a bit like a Formula 1 tire, doesn't it?
Quite shiny, isn't it?
I absolutely love this. I absolutely love it. And would you like to see what came off the print bed just as I came home?
Yeah.
I will put these there just so you can see the size compare. Let me get a ruler on it, actually. So this tractor tire is almost 3 inches across.
Wow.
And this one is a little bit smaller because there's not so much depth to it. It's about 2.5 inches. Okay, you ready for this, guys?
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
Wow.
I did start printing this. Who was I streaming with yesterday? Or was it the day before?
Me.
Oh, of course it was you, wasn't it? And I was struggling with the first layer sticking because the actual print bed, right? When you level the bed, obviously you have to get all the corners exactly right so that as the nozzle goes across, it's all level. However, if your print bed, and this is exaggerated, if your print bed is like that, you can see that you're going to get thick and thin bits. And this is so large. See, these, I can print 4 of these on one print bed. This, I can only do 1. And it's absolutely impossible on that particular print bed to get it all exactly right. So you can see you got little bits there. It's a little bit dodgy. However, when I won't put this in all the way because this isn't Fleetwood's wheel. But when you put the wheel in, you can see that it's good side up. This not the good side is going to be hidden behind Defender.
Wow.
So I've got a couple of little bobbles, and if you're not happy with it, Fleetwood, obviously I'll change the settings. But very thin there. That the actual wall's finished there. But this one I apologize if I'm using words you don't get. Normally the infill that I use, it does like a crisscross.
Yeah.
And that's why my other big tire won't flex, because you've got all these crisscrosses and triangles working against each other. What I did with this was I put a 5% concentric support in. So what it did is it drew two lines inside. Yeah. So you've actually got, I suppose, in effect, you've got a sort of an inner tube, so that when it did start to print, you know, it hasn't got so much bridging. Because if you can imagine, if you've got a gap that big and it tries to draw a line all the way across, it will all droop in.
Yeah.
But that is meant to be 7 top walls. But I'm all right with that.
I'm blown away.
Pardon?
I'm blown away.
Good. I'm really glad you're happy. By the time you've driven this across the sand a few times and dirty it up, you probably won't even notice these little blemishes.
Well, the thing is, obviously, you know what printer I've got, and I've got exactly the same result. I've got these bobbles on the top.
Have you got little blemishes on the top? Right. Okay. So really, £150 printer that I've got isn't really a bad printer, is it?
No. I mean the other side's perfect. I mean, that's really smooth.
I'm actually printing, like I say, I'm printing Adrian's off at the moment, so I can do a comparison. I need to bag these up before I get them muddled up. But yeah, where are we? Oh yeah, I just saw the little bobble, so I can just hold it up again. I accidentally put my screen on. Yeah, there's a few little bobbles, isn't there?
And then that one is just.
Yeah. See, my underside is quite poor because of the bed. It's the actual bed. The bed isn't flat. The actual nozzle was leveled, but all
Horlicks,
of this
just hold them together again, Horlicks, with the inner sides together, and show us them. Excellent. For an awful minute, then I thought the tread was wrong way around, but the tread is absolutely right way around.
No, they are two separate pieces.
Yeah.
The trailer tires and the front tires are the same print duplicated, but those tires are there's different. A left and there's a right. Yeah.
Yes, there is. Yeah, because the tread pattern, the arrow part of the tread pattern should face forwards.
Yes. Yeah. And obviously
that's the wrong way around, Horlicks. Yeah.
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 But this front tire, well, both of the tires will actually fit inside the big tire.
Yeah.
So
right.
If I give you a rough measurement, Dave.
Yes.
Talking about 5.5 inches, that's not an exact measurement.
Is that the diameter from tread to tread each side?
Let me show you exactly what I've done. So I've taken that bit there.
Yeah.
I've placed the ruler, and to about there is roughly there. So that's about 5.5 inches across.
5.5 inches. Right. So I'm sticking with my estimate then of 1 to 10 scale.
Right.
It isn't 1 to 8, I don't think.
Right.
So 1 to 10 scale.
So how big would these tires be in real life? Because if they were 6 inches, that would represent 3 foot tall, wouldn't it? No.
Yeah. No.
Right. So 5.5 inches.
Well, I equate that to about 4 foot 6 inches high.
Yeah, about 4.5 foot. I make it.
Yeah, 4 foot 6 inches.
Which is a little bit shorter than me.
Yeah.
Now, you say 4 foot or 5 foot?
4 foot 6 inches.
Right, no, so I would estimate that if this was on the ground and I was standing next to it. My feet would be here, the
Yeah.
shoulders would be roughly about there.
Yeah, that's correct.
But I'm not big.
No,
So if you were 6 foot tall,
you'd be up there. Yeah.
that big, does that sound
Yeah.
about right?
Yeah, because it's only a small tractor, really.
Is it? Oh, of course
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, because it's an old tractor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's only a small tractor.
So would you call these small wheels, small tires then?
To modern ones, yes.
Wow. We've got to persuade Mr. Makit to build a modern tractor.
Wow.
This would probably be the size of the rim then, would it?
That'd be the size of the front wheel.
Would it really?
Yes.
Wow. Oh. Dave Milner says, can you not buy rubber tires that size even though they are great? I don't know what the other guys' responses to that would be, but mine is A, would it be more expensive, and B, is it really as much? I mean, come on, Horlicks, we've had fun with this, haven't we? We've had bad times, good times.
I think it's more
bad times
from scratch. I haven't, obviously we've had to buy some maintenance for it, but I've built that from scratch. And
yeah, but how many times have you sworn at it because it didn't come out right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. You had an awful lot more hair before you started this tractor, didn't you?
Yeah.
But no, I've learned something. I've learned, I mean, I know all about the settings. Well, I know roughly about the settings on Cura, but I've not really seen the effect. The thing I hate about these tires is that you need to turn your print speed so far down, it's unreal. No, not with Fleetwood's filament, obviously, because it's absolutely awesome and you can print it at like 1,000,000 miles an hour and it seems to work well.
I was going to say, I could print these I had to print these faster than my PLA.
Faster than the PLA?
Yeah, my PLA I'm printing at 30 and this I had to print at 50. Really?
Because I normally print my PLA about 50 and these tires for me my filament was at 20, but Fleetwood's I upped that. Basically, I did an experiment. I printed the little piece of leveler rubber, and I thought, oh, let's see what we can do with it. Because the first thing I noticed was the print temperature was a lot lower. So I printed it at 200 or 210, which is the same temperature as the PLA. Yeah. And then I went back to print this one, which is Adrian's piece, and the filament does say print at 210 to 250 or something. So I tried it at 210, just wasn't having it. So I put it back up to 240, and it's just flowing like probably not water, but it's just very thick water almost.
Well, that's the problem I've had with the tires. I could print these quick because it was just dripping out. So the quicker it was, the better. Otherwise, it was making a mess. Do you think now
I've turned the temperature up, I could perhaps speed it up a little bit?
Probably.
But also, you got to remember things that make the difference is the extruder, for example. The extruder that I've got now is actually a very good extruder for flexible, because obviously you've got your wheels, haven't you, that feed the filament through. Do you have a Bowden tube set up as well, Horlicks?
Yeah.
So it pushes the filament into a tube.
Yeah.
So where you've got the two wheels that push the filament through, you've then got a gap, then you've got a hole where the Bowden tube starts. So if you have flexible filament that's too flexible, it won't actually go into the tube. It will just, Chris Campbell, how are you? So I bought this really expensive extruder from America that cost me so much money because of customs. Turns out I've been sitting on a extruder all along, but where the Bowden tube is, it's actually got a long piece of threaded rod, what do you call it with a hole in it? Threaded shaft.
Tube.
A who?
Tube.
Tube, yeah. And if you turn that in, you can actually turn that tube all the way so it's touching the wheels. So it reduces the gap. Let me...
Yeah, that's right. That's what the vector printer's got. That,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to adjust that so
Yeah.
you've got so much gap. But obviously, I've got today's print on 250, which was like the fast speed, but it came out a bit of a mess, to be honest. I mean, you can't really see it, but there's just bits everywhere. So I need to reprint that at 30, really.
Yeah. So let me show you this. It might not come out very well, and I apologize if it doesn't. So, oops, hang on, I've got to pull the picture up first, haven't I? That would help. So that's a picture of my extruder. And I don't know if you can see there, you've got this tube. And you see there, I've got it fairly, this is the wheel, and this is a spinny disc thing. And you can see the filament going through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see it, probably not very well, but you've got a gap there where you can see the filament.
Yeah.
If you wind this thread, you see you've got the Bowden tube attachment actually attaches onto the tube. So this piece there, it's more of an adapter than anything else. But if you, whoops, why is my date? Oh, no. Something strange is going on with my phone, because I bought a gigabyte of data this morning. Right. That's better. Right. So if you spin that, you turn that, and that will go all the way to that.
Yeah.
Almost touching, so that will stop the flexible filament from flying out all over the place. So, but that's a cheap alternative. It's never going to. Sorry, I didn't mean to have my sparkly tin on display there. I mean, that will never be as good as a dedicated extruder, but it's a very, very close second. So, right. So,
sorry, Penny. My friend's just got back to me about the filament. He said the only one that's available at the moment, he hasn't got any, but the one that's closest to mine is on Amazon. It's called Any Cubic Flexible 1.75, but it's 500 grams for $15.55.
Which isn't an awful price. It's still a lot cheaper than the filament that I've been buying. So I will look into that.
And he said that's got the same shore hardness as mine, roughly.
Yeah. Right. So shall we have a go at putting? Is there anything else I might have missed?
No.
So we've got jacks on the print. We've got modification, little extras. Obviously, as I print them, I will show you them on the stream. But basically, if you go to Thingiverse on my mini factory, then there's bits and bobs there. So now, also yesterday, I will show you. I'm not going to show you properly until I've actually finished. We'll call it prototyping. What I've been doing is I've been putting together the cultivator, and what I'm missing is the springs. So once I've done the springs, I can put it all together. Now the springs I took a huge gamble, and I bought enough springs so that just about everybody could have them. I think I bought 7 packs of 20, which is enough to do 20 of these. But unfortunately, they're too thin. They're 3mm coils, and you can't get them round. So we've looked at buying. Was it Adrian? Was it you I was talking to last night about it?
Well, it was me and Makit were all about last week, weren't we? About the spring packs, wasn't we, on eBay?
I've actually gone for the spring pack that you got on what you looked at on eBay, because there's quite a few different lengths. They do lots of different springs that have got, they've got 20 of them or 10 of them or 12 or something like that. And there's about 3 or 4 different springs that are very close in size. So I think we'd be able to modify them, or they'll be a good match or whatever. So this is what it is. It's hit and miss, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Some things you waste money on, some things you don't. I have also got extremely good news. I have today received these. These are the rare arms that we could not find for love nor money. And I owe Fleetwood a massive thank you for these. These are £1.99 for 2, plus about £2.50 postage. So I don't know why I bought 5, but I bought 5. So I've got enough there to do 5 tractors, which is coincidentally my 2 tractors and Adrian's tractor, 3 tractors. So, and the postage stays the same no matter how many you buy, which is quite useful. So if you can club together with friends and do it, not open the packets, not had a look, but it has explained. We've got some little rare arms, and we've got a round hole, and we've got some with hexagonal holes. And it all makes sense now, because these have got a hexagon in the middle. So we'd need the alternate one to go over there. And these have actually got a hole in the middle. You can't see. Oh, you might be up. There you go. Can you see the little hole in the middle? So I'm suspecting that what we can do, if we can drill a hole in the little arm, we can then thread a screw through there. That's not then going to move, is it?
No.
Yeah.
That's that then. Right. So, do you want to use your view, Horlicks, or do you want to use mine for the next stage?
I'll use yours if you like.
Okay. So let's use this view, because this is quite nice, isn't it? We keep everybody on screen. So the parts that we require for this week, let's just move that down so my desk doesn't look quite so ugly. Right, so we are going to need, sorry, I'm just preparing the screen. So I have a bag of goodies here. Right, so we need, let's look at the screws first. Now, all of the screws that I've got on the spreadsheet, and I noticed that I haven't put the spreadsheet into the description. So I'm just going to post a link to a spreadsheet in the chat, and I will try and incorporate that into the description from next week. That spreadsheet is originally it was the Makit, a copy of the Makit spreadsheet, which I've then adapted, and you can't actually see any of the Makit bits left, but it is derived from that. So it's got a copy of the parts list. Now we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws this week. If I just get them ready, 1, 2. Nothing exciting about them. They're just screws, and we won't actually use. I don't think we'll use any of these screws this week. I've got a confession to make. I haven't actually put this I haven't put this Rice Rake together tonight, so I don't know if we've got the right screws. So the first screw, well, in no particular order, we need 2.5 10mm button screws, and I think these come in packs of 10 for the price we quoted, but there's quite a few there, and they just look like the button screws, but they're a little bit smaller. So that's those. Let's do them in size order, shall we? 25, and this is the point where I've just thrown these into this week's build because we haven't spent a lot of money, because there's no electronic parts required. So it's just prints. So it's a case of let's chuck a load of screws in, get them all in nice and ready, and spend the money now while we've got it. So we've got M3 12mm countersunk screws. Is this the first countersunk screw we own now? Do you know?
Think so, yeah.
Right. And well, I'll do these are the 12mm countersunk and these are 12mm button. And the only difference between the two is the type of head. So this, when you screw it in, there'll be a little triangle insert, and then it will actually go in like that. So you'll see the screw head looking at it from top, but you won't see it from the side view. Whereas the button head will stop there.
Yeah.
So you can see it. Unfortunately, the only drawback is that these button heads are a hex screw, whereas the countersunk are posi screw. So I'm sorry, guys, you're going to be switching your screw heads around. So we've got as well 25mm versions of the M3 button heads. We've got 30mm, which is obviously a little bit longer. I've bought far too many. Obviously, I do all sorts of weird stuff, so having all these collections of screws isn't going to do me any harm, and it's actually going to put my granddad's shed to shame. Can you believe that? And the last one we'll get is a 35mm. And yeah, that's the 6 boxes of screws we're going to get for this week. Nice little collection happening now. We'll try and use a screw that we already own, but if we don't get an exact match on the screw, we'll just wait until another week when we get the correct one, or maybe we can just switch things around just to sort of tie up this this build together. So I have got the following pieces for you. Now, all the colours that I mentioned are suggested colours and not compulsory. But what I've gone for is black in the universal hook, and these bits here, these will attach to the back of the tractor, and then your attachment fits there. You will see this in another build. You will see this. Is it next week in the leveler?
Yes.
Right. So you'll see this pop up again. I've suggested black because I think the contrast of the silver parts from the tractor, and then whatever you add on the end, it will add a different color. Now, I've printed off 2, and I don't know why they've come out. One's come out super shiny and one has come out dull, but that's fine. You'll see why I printed 2 in a moment. Now, these print really well without supports, but this has printed better than this one. The only issue I found is you print it this way up, you've got this little bridge, and you see you've got a little bit of sagging there. It's not anything major, and I think if I ran a file over that, that would get rid of that. But it sits like this on the tractor. I think that's not really going to be the main focus. But this one seems to have... I printed this way up. So, and there's no sagging, so maybe I used supports for this one. I think I did use supports for this one. So this is what you'll get with supports. But Adrian, would you like to tell the viewers how much work is involved in removing all the supports?
Well, one piece I found very easy, but the other 2 bits were slightly awkward.
Right. Basically, supports will fill all of this in with plastic, and you'll get a big lump there, and it'll be quite difficult to remove. This is the result. Without supports, you've got a little bit of defect. So it's your call, guys. Right, so we will need the rice rakes. Now I've printed both of them off. You've got the rice rake there, and you've got the dense one, or this is the dense, or whatever. But this is why I've done 2 universal hooks, so I can build both of these. Now, Makit did suggest, or Chris did suggest doing these in wood. So I reprinted these last week in a wood coloured filament. It's not a wood filament, but it's wood coloured. And I think he was spot on. This is really nice in this colour. What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we've got I've got 4 pieces because it gives you a choice. We can't assemble this week because we need to fix it to the front of the tractor, but this is a counterbalance, and this will strap onto the side of the tractor, onto the front of the tractor like so. And then there is, forgive the colour of the axle, I did the first drafts in black, and I thought, well, you ought to see the axle. What you need to do is put some, it's suggested we put bearings in, and we thread a load of bearings on there. That will go onto there like that. Obviously, this is screwed to the side of the tractor, and then this will add a weight at the front of the tractor to stop the tractor from, when you've got things like the lifter on the back, the weight could send the tractor into doing wheelies, which you don't want. So this should counterbalance. If that doesn't add enough weight, you've got a double version. So the double version is exactly the same, but now you'll need to put in 2 lots of bearings.
Yeah.
So like so. Now, I've been working on a mod, and the first draft hasn't worked, and that's to print a barrel. And this is the barrel. Now, what I've done is I've done 7 walls with no infill. And what the idea is that you can cut away one of these bottom pieces of wall, stuff something heavy in there, such as plasticine or clay. You can then glue the 2 parts together around the axle.
Yeah.
And then you can attach this like so. And it's still not pretty, but I think the barrel attached to the front of the tractor, rather than some bearings, I think that looks a little bit better.
Yeah, what they used to do, Penny, is fill the barrels with concrete.
Oh, is that what they actually used to use?
Yeah.
Oh, so now this is realistic, is it?
Yeah.
The only problem is I scaled it down based on the size of the axle, based on the front of the tractor, not on the size of the axle. You see, I need to bring this barrel down a little bit more. But let me show you what I've done. Be very careful, guys. If you push hard, this has got a lot of thick wall on it. If you push hard, because the bottom, there we go. So you can see there that it's starting to come away. Once you've got that, you can then carefully with a knife continue to cut this away. Like I say, be very careful. Whoops. So I've deliberately kept the bottom layer very, very small. I think this is actually 1 or 2 layers. So it's very, very thin. Because obviously, if you make it too thick, it's going to be a lot harder to cut it away.
Yeah.
So there we go. So, yeah, if you want to tidy it up with a file, you can. Obviously, I've got to work on the sizes, and then I'll post this file into the Facebook group. So there we go. I've just created a hole very quickly. And then if I get something, I can just shove into there. And this actually goes all the way into there. So you can make this a completely solid item. You could, if you're a bit of a sadistic person, you could print this in 100% infill. But I think modeling clay, doesn't modeling clay work out more heavy than the plastic?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got this guy, it's actually a guy I'm working with on some models. But he wants me to price something up for him. So I really should turn the volume down on my phone sometime when I'm doing. So I do apologise. Someone's got a bit of background. Is that me or is that someone else? But yeah, so we could fill that up with something. We could do the same with this. we can glue the two bits together with the axle. I've lost the axle. Okay. With this, but obviously I've got to resize this barrel. This is the first guess. I'm going to call it a first guess rather than the first prototype, but that's nearly there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then once that's done, but I've got to be honest with you, probably might be better off waiting until we actually fill it with plaster. Now I've actually got plaster, so I could probably do that, but we might actually be better off waiting until we actually fix this. And we could actually fix this in 3 weeks when we finish the steering, because the steering will be done in the next phase. So is that appealing to anyone, or would you rather just put bearings?
I think that'd be all right. What about the double one, Penny? What would you do with that?
Well, see, I need to fix this before I can figure this out. But the difference between the single and the double, let me get the right piece. The double is the single with an extension on the end. It is exactly the same.
Couldn't you do something like a, I'm trying to think, like an RC battery shape? You know what I mean? That can take 2 poles, you could fill it. You know what I mean?
Like you could put the batteries in the counterbalance and use the batteries. But it's, so for example, perhaps you could put a clip on, make these a lot thinner, make them clip together, so you can put a battery or something in, and that would be your battery, which should then save room on the inside of the hood. Yeah, that's something to think about. Let's say I've not made any modifications to this yet, but this might be okay because you've got 6 holes there to attach them, but you only actually need 2. This actually goes in where the screws where the motor goes in, or the engine as I call it, and you'll either place 2 screws there, 2 screws there, or 2 screws there. So I'm wondering if you screw it in long, I think this might be big enough. But worst case scenario, I'll go into Tinkercad and I could just remove this little bit there.
I've got another thought, Penny. You know the double one. If you did a two-part piece, say the bottom bit with 100 fill infill, so it's rock solid, and then did the top bit with a hinged lid, we could put our tools in there.
So would you? Yeah. So we could work on different versions, couldn't we? But I like the idea of a shelf. But Dave, is a little shelf with a toolbox on it? Is that realistic?
Yeah, in an older type tractor, in the modern tractors, the counterbalance or front weights, as they're called, are all sorts of shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
You know, and they're often individual ones as well. You often see 5 or 6 on the front end of a tractor.
Right.
So yeah, you could make it any shape you want, really.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you could make it into an oblong toolbox. You know, and the bottom half of it counterweighted with something or other. You know, a lump of lead.
Right.
Or
So, for example, if we made a toolbox, made a little shelf, put a toolbox, and then hide perhaps a little square lead weight.
Yeah.
To make it look like it's part of the bottom of the toolbox.
Yes.
And then put a thin piece of plastic over that, so you'll never see the lead weight.
Yes.
And then you've got the toolbox on top.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like with sorry, you're showing us. Let me just show you Horlicks.
No, just I've got the parts together.
Yeah. So that's the double axle.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, you might be all right just going out and buying. I mean, I there's a tractor going around Newport at the moment. It sounds a bit foreign. Joe Carter or something like that. Help me out, Dave.
Fent.
Joe something. It sounds foreign, but on the front of the tractor, it's got counterbalance. But it looks like oval shaped you know the weights that you use in the gym.
Yes.
It looks like those, lots and lots of those.
Yes.
But they're sort of a horseshoe oval shape with
Yes.
little ridges cut, and you can see that they slide in.
Yeah.
So that's the same principle as the bearings, isn't it?
Yeah. And out of a Joe Carter, out of a John Deere.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I'll write next time I see it. I will stop my bus and I will write the name down. No, I'm useless to remembering names like that, but it's orange if it helps.
It's orange, is it?
Yeah, does that help you at all, Dave?
Is it a Zeta?
Could be. No, probably not. I don't know.
Alice Chalmers?
No. It sounds like it's foreign.
Probably a Zeta. Probably a Zeta
You'll
then.
make me Google tractor brands now, aren't you?
Penny.
Brands. I was probably something completely different. Kubota.
Oh, Kubota, yeah.
Yeah. Is that foreign?
Oh, it's a little tractor. Yes, it's foreign, yeah.
It was pretty big, actually, I thought. Well, anything that's comparable in size to my bus is considered big. I do enjoy towering over other drivers.
Yeah, Kubota tractors, they do them very small garden type tractors up to medium sized tractors, shall we say.
Right. So, does that interest anyone doing these, or perhaps doing the toolbox?
Yeah.
So perhaps I should be looking. What I'm thinking is, let me see if I can find the page. Here we are. So
rough sketch.
Well, my most obvious starting point, if I can find it, is let's start with this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Maybe that would do the job. Maybe just resize it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, if you have a look at what I was trying to show you, Penny, like this. If you have two boxes, so you have the two pins here that holds into the bracket, molded on the side.
Yeah.
This will be really heavy. Then this top bit, you'll have like a toolbox here, with a lid or a sliding lid or something like a toolbox. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously it will look like
we'll have to have a little flash out session then, and bang our heads together.
Yeah. So it would look like that on the front of the tractor. Not brilliant, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So this bit would be solid, and that bit would be hollow, so you can put your tools in there. The little spanners and stuff.
And you could just fill it up with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't just to bulk it out. It doesn't even matter if it's useful or not.
Yeah.
So anyway, little quick bit of good news for you, Fleetwood.
What's
This
that?
one has 2 trailer wheels.
Oh, lovely.
I think you've got enough filament left to do the second one. It's about halfway through the second one. But I really am not confident about getting another 4. There you go. Dave Milne says the Kubota tractor is orange. Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was orange.
Yeah.
Right. So Rice Rakes. This is going to be the easiest build we will do. All we're going to do, and I'll get to do this twice, and then we'll maybe get Horlicks to do it as well. So because we've got a countersunk hole there, obviously it's going to be a countersunk screw. So I will go for my 12 mil because that's the only countersunk we've got. And I will pop that screw into there. So you see how it goes flush?
Yeah.
And then we will pop that into there. And it's a little bit long, but it will work for today. So let me just check if we're going to get anything smaller. in the build. Parts list, electronics, nuts and bolts. Brilliant. Right, so we are going to be getting an 8mm countersunk, but I wonder if, right, we haven't officially bought these yet, but I will try the 8mm. I've got a feeling the 8mm will be too small. So no, we've got 8mm. We got 8mm in, because I put numbers on the top to tell me what episodes. We actually got these last week, if you followed the guide. So let's take that out.
Do you want to go full screen, Penny?
Oh, sorry, guys. So right, so we'll put the 12mm back, and we'll pop the 8mm in.
I think the 8 might be slightly too small.
Do you know what? I think we'll be all right. It won't be perfect, but I will get me nuts out. I think we're going to use, well, we will be using a hell of a lot of nuts. So what we are going to do is get your screwdriver ready. Oh no. Oh no, I've put my weight area. Oh, I thought I lost the wow stick. Right, so well, I'll have a little look at that in a bit. Fleetwood was just sent me a message. So you've got a little recessed hole in there that's nut shaped. So just pop your nut in. Now I'll show you a trick that's great. This is actually not a brilliant fit. So I'll show you how I get round this. Put it in as best you can, and then find yourself a screw that is too long. Wait, the longer the better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the screw in there, and I'm going to tighten that up. And what that should do, right, so get the screw on the end. Actually, because that's flat, I'm going to use a, do you know what, I've wrenched that. Oh no, look, I put the nut on at the wrong angle.
Have you cross-threaded it?
No, I haven't cross-threaded it, but it's gone in, it's stuck, and the wow stick isn't strong. Oh, right, I'm going to have to use pliers. Oh no, I might have killed my build. Right, I've got to find some pliers. I know I've got some somewhere. There we are. That's sorted it. Right. So use a button head because I don't want to drill a hole into there. So any button that's too long will do. So we'll pop that all the way through, and then I'll just get this started off by, oh god, fiddly. Right. So
will you need to change the head on your screwdriver?
I will. I just want to get this started. I just want to get the fiddly bit sorted out first. So we'll just get that started by hand. And I think it's this one. Nope. But actually, I'm going to do this one with Mioria, just for a little bit of control. So if you gently screw that into there, as you screw, it'll pull the nut in. And you see that that's starting to line up?
Yeah.
So as you screw, it then pulls that nut in. There we go, that's fully in. And then we can undo the screw. I mean, obviously, if you've got a perfect, awesome printer, that will print those holes perfect. But mine isn't. So we've got
my nut. My nut.
Yeah. Sometimes you can line them up and you can just push them, but it's not going to happen with this one. So, but you know, it is what it is. You know, my printer was about 800. Oh, actually, saying that, mine might just go in like that. So there you go, guys. There's an alternative way of putting them in. So I will just do this trick. Actually, I'll use it with a wax stick. So nice, quick, easy way of getting your nuts in. Oh God, that hole. That's not. I thought the hole was too small.
Oh,
that's how not to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if you don't get them in straight, that's what happens. So as it gets close, we just line that up, and then screw it all the way in, and then that pulls it in. Right. So now we can unscrew it. Right. So we've got two nuts in there, and I think that's the correct way round, isn't it? You got the two holes at the bottom, one hole at the top.
Yeah.
So I think the 8mm might just work. So we will see. So we take our rice rake and we pop one screw into one of the holes. We line that up, and the moment of truth. Oh, it's connected.
Yeah.
That's perfect. 8mm screw. So 8mm countersunk screw, one M4 nut, M3 nut, sorry, M3, and then that just goes on like so. And you can actually do this one quite tight, but don't over tighten it, obviously. So there we go, and there's one rice rake.
Excellent.
So shall I do the other one, or do you want to see Horlicks do his? Unless he's already done his.
Oh, I've not done it yet.
Not done it yet. Okay, let's have a look at Horlicks, then we'll go back and we'll do one of mine. Sorry guys, I wanted to do this, didn't I? Oh, I'm sorry, I can only do completely solo layout for somebody else, or this from my view.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just an update for those that haven't seen as well. That's where I'm up to.
Oh yes.
So
Sorry,
I'm pretty much up to date
that.
with all wiring. So that's and it all works. I haven't got a power supply, but I've just been using a 9-volt battery.
Wow.
As you can see, it seems to do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Show us your dip. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And obviously, I got these through the post.
Yeah, I've basically what I've done is I printed them in. Do I give you silver and black, or just silver?
Black as well.
Right. So I printed them in black. Then I thought, oh, they're probably metal, so I printed them in silver. And then on last week's show, Chris said, oh no, you do them in wood. So I said to Horlicks, I said, look, because I didn't know if Horlicks had any woody filament. I said, save you printing them. I'm going to be sending you a package anyway. Do you want my rice rakes, which I'm going to end up throwing away? So obviously, once you fit yours, you have a look at it, Horlicks, and you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. Maybe you can pass them on to someone else or chuck them in the bin. But yeah, so
Right. No, I like the silver. That'd be alright
you
for
do
me.
like the silver.
So
Yeah, funny actually, you like the silver. I actually do like the wood ones. So we all win on that one, don't we?
I'm just going to pop my nuts in as
Yeah.
wine.
Yeah, because obviously your tolerances. You know, I've had to do a little bit more work, but then I've got a printer that's about £700 cheaper. So, well, not for you, obviously, Horlicks. I think you got your printer really cheap, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, cheap as in didn't spend much money, but I think you did a lot of work instead, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, right.
So yeah, just screws that in.
Okay.
Yeah. Tighten them up as much as I dare. There we go.
Wow. Impressive.
And obviously we've got the skinny one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
As and when.
So could you do us a little favour, Horlicks? Could you show just place your little rear diff on the ground and then place your Rice Rake roughly where it would be in relation? And then we can have a little size. It might give us an idea of the width of the tractor then.
It'd go on the back, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, roughly a little bit, probably about where your index finger was just then. Possibly even where your servos are when they hang off.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah. And then the rear arms can lift that up or down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's
Certainly some size, isn't it?
Pardon?
Certainly some size, isn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not, we've not built anything usable, and we haven't added to the tractor last week, this week, and next week, but we've got some bits.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's no different from like when we did the engine on the Routemaster, we had this lovely engine, but it just sits there. So unfortunately, this is just going to sit there for a while, but now you've got something, and it might give you a bit of a sense of size. I'm making my Rice Rake about 200 millimeters across, about 8 inches. So that's going to be roughly the width of the tractor. I know I did struggle to get them on the print bed, to print multiple ones off. I had to sort of overlap them a little bit. So let me just show my view. When I printed them on the bed, I printed them like that, otherwise I just couldn't fit them all on. It's the only way I could get them on, because my print bed is about that wide. So I'm just going to quickly build my second one. Did you want to build yours as well, Horlicks?
No, I've only printed one arm. Right,
okay. So, look, this one, it's gone straight in. This is the one I printed with supports. So that screw has got, that nut has gone straight in. And let's see if this one does as well. So, I think I missed there. So, that's a little bit of a tighter fit. Oh, that's gone in. So, obviously, the orientation has made a difference. Because I printed it that. Oh, that's funny, because I printed this way up, and the screw was the nuts were quite difficult to get in. This one I actually printed this way up.
Yeah, that's how I printed.
Yeah, that's odd, that, isn't it? So yeah, the 8 mils. Did you use 8 mil countersunk?
Sorry.
Did you use the 8 mil countersunk screw? Right. So shouldn't really put both nuts in, really, should I? Saying that, they were tight fit. So one screw in there. I forgot to say, actually, I didn't tighten this first one up fully. The reason being is that you know, obviously you want to get this one lined up exactly right. So if you tighten this up just so it goes in, that didn't require many screw turns. So I've got enough there just to rotate it. And then once I got it lined up, I can pop the second screw in, tighten that one up. And I can go as tight as I like on this one. But this one isn't connecting. So that might just want to go in a little bit more. There we go. That's gone in. And then this one. There we go. That's gone in absolutely fine. So, but I suppose you could, if you had a 3D pen, you could perhaps just go over that with a 3D pen and then just rub it down. That would hide the screw holes if you wanted them hidden up. So there's 2 pieces made.
Wow.
So when we build the back of the tractor, we will now have something to play with.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Dave?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So from memory, I believe Chris said that he made this is the actual rice rake.
Yes.
Scaled down.
Yeah.
But obviously you can't scale down grains of rice.
No.
So the grains of rice were actually too big for this to cope with.
Yeah.
So redesigned it to do this. And you can see that all he's done is he's just cut out every other prong.
Yeah.
This one, this one, this one, and this one. And that's very simple. I could do that myself. So I suppose if you thought perhaps that one is too big a gap, you could just change the positioning of these prongs.
Yeah.
But he says that this one is obviously this is more accurate, but it's the prongs are too close to cope with the rice. So this is a better one to use with a full size rice. Unless you could get 1 to 10 scale rice.
No.
Are we pushing the modifications too far on that one?
Slightly.
So yeah, that's the build, and actually I think we've done quite well with that, with the length of the go. So so your thoughts then, guys? We've got 2 people, one person that's watching it, and 2 people that are going to be building that. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to sort the camera out. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I just can't wait to get it to a stage where
Yeah, I keep looking at it. I'm bagging all the parts up and I'm unbagging them and checking the parts again. And every time I pick up the bag, I'm like, yeah, I could put this together and then unassemble it and no one will ever know. And it's just really tempting to put it together. So far I've resisted.
Yeah.
How about you, Horlicks? You must be a temptation.
no, I have, but no, I haven't.
Adrian, you've got enough parts to do a few bits, haven't you? Have you been really tempted?
As I haven't got the electronics, I couldn't be bothered to.
Fair enough then.
So
the longer I hold on to the electronics, the longer you'll hold on to it together. So if I sit here like this, this is Thursday. I might as well show you this actually. So what I've done is Adrian's got 3 tractors, so I've had to do this in triplicate. But I've made him up 3 little bags, and he's got in each bag. He's got 1 motor with a female JST connector on it, and let's see, that's nice and tight. I put a bit of masking tape on because I did test it, and I wanted to see which way around the masking tape went. He's got.
Did you do them the same as ours? Red to red, black.
Yes. Yes, I'll tell you that story in a minute. because it's quite amusing. There wasn't at the time. So we've got JST connector, 2 of them soldered together to make one long one. So you've got male on one end and female on the other. And this was actually the hard one. Was the servo cable. Now you can buy 30 centimeter servo cables, extension cables. And I think I've just pulled that apart. Something just gave. Oh, that's all right. It was the actual plug. I have tested these JST connectors, Adrian, but I have not tested servos because I don't know what we've got. Oh, I suppose I could do it with an actual servo, but so I'll probably test these.
Yeah, that's quite hard. That servo extension.
Yeah, because what I found is I soldered a couple of wires. Even though I cut these the exact same length, I stripped the exact same amount off, and then I twisted them exactly the same. When I come to solder them, by the time I got to the third one, you kind of ended up with this situation.
Yeah.
So I then had to trim the wire again. So these are slightly shorter. They're about 27, 28 centimeters, but they're long enough. So I've done that 3 ways. Now,
I think mine's about 23 because every time I cut it, a bit of wire snapped.
Oh,
so
you keep moving wires, don't you?
mine is tiny.
Did the servo cable fit through okay? Is it long enough?
Yeah, I've got a little bit poking out one end and a bit the other end.
Yeah.
It's not as long as yours, but I think it'll be fine.
What I've actually found since, and I don't know if I've ordered some, I've actually found a big roll of servo cable, and it's just the cable. So what we could actually do is cut both ends off about that long, and then we can make a servo extension cable as long as we want. 2 centimeters, 200 centimeters, whatever. You know, we just make it the exact same, the right length. What I noticed, these are the exact, see, I only ordered one motor, and my motor, I don't know if you can see, it has a red dot on it. So that's why I put the red wire there. And yeah, you could use crimp connectors to put the wires together, then you wouldn't need solder. I have been trying with crimps and I can't seem to do it. I require a lot more practice. So yeah, when I got Adrian's, I noticed all 3 of Adrian's have got a red dot on both ends. One there and one there. But one of them's faded, and on another motor it's very prominent. So I reckon I must have got a motor where one of them wore out. That would explain why when I connected my motor, my wheels are actually going the wrong way round. And that's not
mine
right.
are.
Right. That's not a problem because you can just reverse on the transmitter. What I actually did was, this is why I've got a bit of tape on. There we go. Right, I put a little bit of permanent marker on it. And what I did is I hooked the motors up to the variable power supply, and I watched which way the tape went round. And when it was going the same way as my motor, I then put in permanent marker a little plus by the one where I put the red connector. So these are all rotating the exact same way my motor is. So if I come across any problems, you will have the same problems. So when I sort it all out, you can do the same thing to sort it, as opposed to you having a problem and me going, I've got a clue what you're on about, Adrian. That's not happened with my build. So that's the theory. So yeah, there is your motors, Adrian. And now I've got to fold these wires up again. I've worked out how to fold these. And there they are. So that I can get them all in the bag. So we're using bags because we like to try and recycle hair, don't we? And I think that is everything to show you. All I've really been buying is things for a second tractor. Oops, I want that view. I want that view. So I've still got bits coming through the post. I've got bits that belong to other people. I've got bits that belong to me. What's this I've got? Oh, more. Yeah, I think the more bearings I've got. Bought more caps. I don't know why I bought more caps, but and I bought. There's my diff for the second tractor. So when I do the pre-recorded videos, I think I've got enough now to get the first few weeks going. So what I'm going to do is, obviously, I've got to do catch-ups, but when we'll do 3 videos live, and then the 4th week, I'll do 3 pre-recorded videos, which will then serve as an indicator to you guys that I'm not going to be doing the Routemaster and the tractor that week, but you'll still have some content on my channel to watch. Okay, so pair of earrings, anyone? But yeah, this is the counterbalance is still going to be a work in progress. We know what we need to do to get it working with regards to the bearings. We can just go out and buy bearings. I think this will fit 8 bearings, and we could go ahead with that. We don't need to go ahead with it now because we haven't put the front together. But now that we've got these, we can, as we build the steering, we can start to put these on and have a play with them, take them off, put them back on another time. So I can resize this barrel, for example. We can start looking at the little shelf. I think that shelf is going to be so easy to do, because all it's going to be is doing a little square block, and then we just put a hole through the middle and then print it upright so the holes remain. And I think that's going to be really easy. So,
well, as I say, have a look at that little box I sent to you, Penny. Might be able to
yeah, let's have a look at that. So, I think, yeah, I just clicked a link that I sent to you. Why did I do that? Right, let's have a look. So you have, this box is freaking awesome by Brenner Carey 1. A simple, cool box. Yeah.
I mean, what you could do is on the side of that box, Penny, is
let me just pull the box up first, and then we can. Right, how's that, guys?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, on the side of the box,
put 2 donuts effectively, which will be like 2 locating pins for the arms.
Ah, yes.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
yes,
it puts in.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the more, yeah. So would it be feasible to extend that box at the bottom, so there'll be a hole in the bottom, which we can then fill full of something heavy?
Well, what you could do is, depending on how deep it is, you could put, say, something like some kind of filler in the bottom of the box to make, raise the, put a bit of weight in there.
Yeah.
And then you still got enough room to put your tools on top, because your tools ain't going to take that much.
Yeah.
So you only left, say, 1 centimetre all the way around inside, and then filled the rest up with some weighty material, filler, concrete, whatever you want to put in there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't actually need a lot of content in that box, do we? We don't need a lot of space left over. Oh, I mean, if we just had, like you say, like 1 centimetre around the top, and we just cram lots of tools in there, you know, when someone looks at the tractor and go, oh, I like the box, they take the lid off the box and they see
like a tray. It would just be like a little tray inside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, it's got the effect. Then I just think that's more aesthetically pleasing than a row of bearings.
Well, at the end of the day, what you could do is actually scrap the single bearing row. Do you know what I mean? Just use that one full time in front of your tractor. I think that would look more better. And that way, then you got a bit of storage on your tractor as well.
Yeah.
You could look online and look for some one-tail scale rope or whatever you want to put on it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. And then upload it to Thingiverse and My Mini Factory and list it as a remix of the counterbalance, and then maybe I could become a famous Thingiverser.
Well, you could do that. Like I say, all you have to do is just put on the side 2 donuts deep enough to lock into the what do you call it? You know.
So we'd still use the sides of the counterbalance.
Yeah.
We'd just be altering the axle so it's a lot shorter, or possibly build the axle into the box.
Well, you won't really need to. If you just put 2 donuts on the outside, then you won't, as long as they locate in the holes of the counterbalance,
right,
it'll lock in. Do you know what I mean? Because if the whole front's bolted in, all you need is like 2 locating donuts so the arms could get there. And if you really want to be picky, you could always drill through the front of the sides of the arms and put a little nut and bolt on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you know what? I think the simpler way to do that is just to put a couple of holes in the side, thread the axle through, and then fill the box full of something heavy and gooey.
Yeah, if you want to do that, yeah.
And then let it dry. Obviously, you don't want the resin. You want the hole to be the exact same size as the hole as the axles. I think that would be a simpler way to do it.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
It needs to be weighty enough that it will. See, I don't know how much weight we'll need. See, I've got to be honest with you. I would be more tempted. Let me have a little spin look at this, as I call it. I personally would like to put a bit of clay in there, and then what I'll do is I'll make a thin sheet of plastic the exact same shape as that, and then we'll press that onto the top of the clay to hide it up. So we've left a little bit of a gap at the top for the tools.
Yeah, false bottom.
Yeah. Because I like the idea. Until I know exactly how much weight we need to put in there to counterbalance the tractor, and I think the amount of weight we need on there may depend on the amount of weight we've got on the lifter.
Yeah.
So we're lifting heavy loads. So I think possibly we might want to leave that until, let me see when we're doing the lifter. I can't remember if we're doing the lifter before we finish building the back end of the tractor. Steering trailer, almost there. Lifter.
Why don't you do, Penny, print one off, right? Fill it up to where you need to fill it.
Yeah.
Let it dry, and then weigh it. Then that will give you an idea.
Yeah.
Pre-production of what it's going to be on counterweight. So at the end of the day, if we need 5 grams to hold it down at the front, we've got 10 at the front, then you know that's fair enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do a test print one and fill it up and see how much it actually weighs. You know, compared to the easiest way to solution it would be, what is it, 16 bearings on the front?
Something like that.
So what you need to do is weigh 16 bearings.
Yeah.
And that will give you the total weight we need.
Right. Week 13, 14, 15 is when we're going to be assembling the 2 halves of the tractor. And we'll get the rear arms sorted out. Then 16, 17, 18 week numbers is going to be the lifter. Then we do the cultivator. And then we do the mods in week 20. We actually work on some mods. I think week 20 would be a good opportunity to try this box out.
Yeah.
Because all that's left, we've got the cabin to add on, and then we'll work on the dump trailer for 6 weeks. Then we'll finish off the tractor, but we haven't got, weight-wise, there isn't an awful lot to finish off, just maybe the hood. But if we can get this counterbalance without the hood is then going to add more weight to the front of the tractor, isn't it?
But you also got your weight of your battery, haven't you, inside the tractor, which is going to add to it.
Exactly. So if we can get this counterbalanced without the tractor and the hood on, then any more weight that we're going to add to the tractor is going to be added to the front of the tractor, which will help the counterbalance. So
Yeah.
I think if we get this completed before we do episode 20.
Yeah.
So sorry, Dave Milner saying, don't some tractors have a bucket on the front and you can put different weight barrels in? Yeah, they do. But what we're trying to do here is like something that's quite aesthetically pleasing and useful. So in this particular, I mean, by the time we get there, we'll probably have worked out lots of different counterbalances. So I'm just having a quick look at the printer. Your second wheel for your tractor is now complete, Fleetwood. I think we've now completely finished with that tractor, with that filament. Do you want me to just keep printing wheels off? See how many I can get out? No, I don't think we need to, do we?
No. I just did have a quick look on Google at a rough bearing weight, and it works out we need about 13 grams at the front.
Right. Okay.
So that's not a lot at all, really, if you know what I mean.
How are you working that out, Fleetwood?
Well, I had a look online. They're saying it's 0.86 grams per bearing.
Right.
So I did 16 because obviously it's 8 per 2 row, and that comes out 13.76 grams.
Right. So how much is that in terms of, say, clay or plasticine or?
Paul, I'm just trying to think. 10 grams.
Remember this box. Let me have a play with Kira. Let me find something I can play with. Right.
Have you got any blow tack or anything?
So I'm just trying to have a walk at feedback.
Let's have a little play, if you don't mind, with Kira. We'll do some non-scientific calculations. So there's Kira. So bear with me on this. This will take a moment. So what I'll do is I will load up the front of the tractor. So that is called front chassis reinforced. So this is going to be, whoops, I don't want to rescale. So this is the front chassis. So I don't know if you can see that well enough, but the steering's going to go underneath there and the hood will go on top of that. But this bit where my cursor is now, that's the front. And that is, so resize, that is 57 millimeters across.
Right.
So if I now load in counterweight, let's put in just the left and the right. So I'll put these upside down because actually I can't put them the right way. Now I'll put them upside down just for the purpose of calculating this. So this counterbalance will go, see where they line up with the holes there?
Yeah.
So if I put this one in,
it would work out roughly, Penny, the weight of an AA battery.
right. So that might actually be useful. So if you can imagine this as the other way round, in fact, actually, I think it'll go that way. No, it'll go that way. Now let's do it properly, because it's right.
So that barrel you had earlier, then you could just stick an AA slot.
Yeah.
A little bit wide.
I did work out the size of the barrel, and why is that? That wants to go. Oh, it's because it's not actually on the bed. There we go. Right. So this one needs to come in. Right. So
You do know there is another alternative to front weights, don't you?
what's that?
Wheel weights.
Oh yes. Oh, would weighing the back wheel down make any difference?
No, weighing the front wheels down.
Front wheels, Penny.
Right. Let me.
The front wheels.
I just happen to have two. Well, there isn't an awful lot of space in there to fill, but you
No,
can
on the outside. On the outside of the wheel.
on the outside.
Yeah, that's where wheel weights. That's where wheel weights are bolted to on small tractors.
Is that what those 4 gaps are then?
Sometimes, yeah.
Right. Okay. We'll have to investigate that, because we could probably get. I saw a mention earlier on, although they were talking about the barrel. See if I can find it. There we go. P40F20 says fishing weights would be a good choice.
Yeah.
I think the fishing weights would be a good choice for wheel weights.
Yeah. If you could mold them somewhere and
I believe it's been a long time since I've played with fishing weights, but I believe that lead is now banned.
Yeah.
It's kind of alternative lead stuff. It's absolutely horrible, but it's right. So there's your 2 batteries.
That's how much weight you will need in there, Penny.
Right. Okay. So that will help, because obviously anyone that's got 2 batteries.
That's above and beyond.
That's not too much.
No.
But what I'd like to do is, when we get to the mods, we'll have the lifter fitted. We'll have the two sides. We'll have most of the tractor complete. So, do you think we could then play with we'll put the counterbalance on. We'll put a pallet onto the back, and we'll see how much weight the pallet can actually take before the whole tractor tips, and then we'll see how much weight we've got to put on the front. We'll have a really good old play, and if we need to extend the shows by a couple of weeks to do that, then so be it.
If the worst comes to worst, what we can do is we could do one, print the box off, and then if we find that it's not heavy enough, we could just make the box a bit more deeper and put a bit more weight in that way. Do you know what I mean? We'll keep it aesthetically looking at the box in the front.
What is the heaviest thing in terms of volume? Like if you had a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cube, what is the heaviest thing that you could have that's cheap and accessible to a modeler? I mean, obviously you could say, oh, go out and buy titanium or something like that, but that's like £1 million for one spec.
Yeah, polyfiller, plaster,
right?
No, or even cement. You know what I mean?
Cement, yeah, plaster.
Right. So
I think in Wilkinson's they do thing called liquid cement, which is in like a tube. You know, it's ideal for filling cracks and.
Right.
or even sand.
I'm now starting to think then with this box to Love Minis are saying fishing weights.
Yeah, fishing weights. Yeah.
Would you say plaster is heavier than fishing weights per volume? I mean,
fishing weights are sold by grams, though, aren't they?
Yeah. See, I did a video a long time ago, somewhere buried deep in my. Chris Davies says pollution. Yeah, we'll fill the box full of pollution.
That's really heavy.
Right. I did a video which I'm actually was considering taking down. There's a product that Games Workshop makes called Sterling Mud, and it's for basing figures, and it looks like mud. And I actually made, based on another YouTuber had made an alternative Sterling Mud. I then took that and made another alternative, and I actually made mine with plaster. And what I've done is I've shoved ballast and stuff and sand into the plaster to give it a rocky effect. Obviously, the ballast and it was like railway modeller's coal, which is quite expensive, but the texture was lovely. So it was, you had like a rocky grandy. But I remember I did base some of my models, and it did actually add quite a lot of weight to it for the amount of plaster. I've still got some plaster. I think it's in my toolbox. So, right, it's dangerous to try and remelt a weight as they can explode due to air bubbles. Right. So for me, then, as far as I'm concerned, fishing weights are out of the question.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is, I sort of did it when I did my diorama, where I was trying to do a concrete bus stop sign. Was I went to the beach, got like 3 tablespoons of sand, and mixed it all over with PVA glue.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then
you be prepared to. If I make a box, have you got any scales, Fleetwood, or has anyone got any scales?
I've got scales here, yeah.
Right,
I've got scales here, and I've got home, so I've got them everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. How about I send you a little bit of plaster. I'll make some boxes, and I'll print all of the boxes off. So
when you send me my parts down on the 18th.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking about sending to you. I'll bag up a little bit of plaster, and I'll make some boxes. Maybe these, I've got some spare ones, so you'll get all the boxes you make will be identical. If you want to then fill those boxes to the brim with different materials, and then when it's all dry, maybe you can weigh it, and then we can work out a cost value.
Yeah.
If something's heavier, but it's 10 times more than, and I think you will find that you probably already own the bearings that you will need for the counterweight. Because I think you can
do, Penny, is print, if you use some of my spare orange that you got.
Yeah.
If you use that box that I sent to you on Thingiverse, but try and scale it up best you can. So it's like, I don't know, the gap is say like 3 inches. Say it's 3 inches across by 2 inches, or whatever the depth is.
Yeah.
And then I can then fill it up. Then I can work out the weights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you give me a small thing, we're not going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is it. I've got where I keep chopping and changing the boxes that I want. I've got loads of these.
All right.
These are all identical. So we'll make it. We're not scientists. We can't make scientific things, but we can make. Obviously, the box weighs a certain amount. So if I send, I'm trying to find 1, 2, 3, 4. And to be honest with you, these are sitting up on the shelf waiting to go in the bin.
Oh, okay. Send me 6 of them down, Penny, and I'll have a go.
Yeah, well, look, these are, when I made these trays, when I made these trays, these are the boxes I put them in.
Oh, okay.
Then, as I started to develop the screw collection, I then started printing these boxes to put the screws in. Well, of course, these don't fit in and I don't need them anymore.
Okay.
So I've got a big pile of boxes here.
Right.
I'm just trying to find the same boxes. That one's got a...
Well, send me 6 down and I'll do some brainiac science experiments.
I'll pop a little bit of plaster powder into a bag, a little Ziploc bag. So how many do you actually want? I think I can send you.
Send me 6 down, Penny. That'd be enough.
Tell you what, I can go better than that. I can send you 10.
All right, 10 then.
You've actually done me a big favour. So all the boxes are identical. We'll find, and we'll just try different things. You know, maybe you could fill one up with soil from your garden. Maybe you could do one with plaster. Just for shits and giggles, maybe you could fill one up with your little foam stuff.
Yeah.
Which we know it won't be very heavy, but you know, it'll just put a couple of silly things in there and some serious things. And you know, maybe if you've got some glue left over from something, there you go. Like you could even put Vicks Vapor Rub in one.
I tell you what, I actually got home. It's just popped into my head. We'll actually do it perfectly.
What's that?
Fish tank gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've just seen this comment here. I've never heard of it before. Product called Liquid Gravity.
No, I've never heard of it.
No, I've never heard of it, but I'm now going to look it up.
I've got a screen share.
By the looks of that, Fleetwood is one step ahead of me. Let me liquid, because I'm also trying to think of the cost. Right, Liquid Gravity, handy weighting system. Right, we've got a YouTube video. Should we watch the video?
Why not?
It's cool. 6 minutes long. Right, so you know, it might be no good for us. It might be the best thing since sliced bread. What was the best thing before sliced bread?
The cheapest on eBay's 500 grams. It's £8.50.
Right. So it all depends on how much we'll actually use. Old screws or nuts? Yeah, actually. Well, you'll get your screws come through, won't you? But these nuts, they are actually quite heavy. So, right, let's watch this video, see what it's if it's any good for us. See how easy it is to use, and just make sure I've got a nice view on. So let's go full. Oh no! Sorry guys, I've got to do the share audio as well. Nothing worse than sharing a video and everyone's gone, can't hear it, can't hear it. Share audio, Chrome tab. Yeah, polyfill is one of the ones we're going to be looking at. Right, guys, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yes.
So, enjoy yourself for the next 6 minutes then, guys.
Introducing Deluxe Materials Liquid.
Is the volume okay?
Liquid Gravity is a weighting system that allows you balance and stability to your models. It can fit
oh, not like in my video.
tiny mobile pellets of non-toxic metal, making it a great, safe alternative to lead-based products. Easy flowing, Liquid Gravity is designed to pour into cavities and can easily be set in place with adhesives such as Deluxe Materials rocket glue. Using all types of modelling, including railway, plastic, radio-controlled, and miniature. So let's see Liquid Gravity in action, starting with railway modelling. Anyone who has built a plastic railway wagon or carriage will know the issues of weight and conductivity are of vital importance to get your rolling stock running reliably. If you intend adding fixed loads to your freight stock, the weight can simply be spread across the floor and fixed with rocket card glue as shown. When applied to the underside of a wagon, use plastic strips to retain the liquid gravity, ensuring you do not obstruct the working of the wagon. Pour the liquid gravity into the recess and glue. Use a penetrating adhesive such as rocket card glue or rocket hot, ensuring that it seeps well into the crevices. With smaller vehicles, you may need to cram the weight into all available recesses, but ensure that you do not impede the movement of the wagon. Liquid gravity is also a great product for weighting plastic models. This Hawkeye is a prime candidate as it has a very pronounced tail bias. Create a cell by using some plastic card, then simply pour in the liquid gravity, and use rocket hot to set in place to create a solid mass of weight. It's as easy as that. As you can see, the plane now sits correctly on its undercarriage. In this example of an anti-tank gun, there is a potential balance problem when adding an aftermarket metal barrel, so liquid gravity is applied to the gaps in the gun's trail legs to restore the balance. Apply gradually, establishing a thin layer of pellets and take care not to overfill. Apply rocket hot to bind and then construct your model as normal. Here is the finished gun, which now has a strong rearward weight bias. In this Valentine tank, liquid gravity creates a feeling of weight, allowing it to sit better on a diorama or a base. 2 cells are filled with liquid gravity, which puts the correct weight over the suspension units. Radio-controlled planes, boats and cars need to be balanced to fly well, sit right in the water or stay on the track. A model aircraft must be balanced to fly well. Too nose heavy and it will feel heavy on the controls or may not even take off. Too tail heavy and it will be very sensitive to the controls, difficult to fly and may even crash. Liquid gravity is ideal for correcting centre of gravity because the dense grains are small, easy to pour into confined spaces and can be set permanently in place with rocket or speed epoxy. Then, with the centre of gravity in the right place, your model aircraft will always fly correctly. This radio-controlled Dakota has been placed on a balance stand with a spirit level. By adding the correct quantity of liquid gravity, you can bring the model into balance for a perfect flight. Many model boats are too light to sit and move correctly through the water and need some carefully placed ballast. Gradually add liquid gravity to fine-tune the balance, binding with glue such as rocket hot so that your model sits perfectly in the water. Many RC racers have found a need to add more weight to the chassis of their racing buggies. Liquid gravity has been added to the side pods of this TLR-22 and held in place with rocket hot glue. Each side pod gained 25 grams, which put a bit more weight into the rear end of the vehicle to aid traction and balance. And finally, liquid gravity is perfect for 12-scale soft furnishings, giving fabrics natural movement and drape. It adds weight to fine curtains by simply adding the grains to the hemline. Cushions take on a more natural shape in chairs. And dresses fall naturally to the floor. Liquid gravity is a great non-toxic alternative to lead-based weighting products, and as you have just seen, it is so easy to use. You can find out more at the Deluxe Materials website, where you can also download a catalogue. Or why not visit your local model shop and ask for Deluxe Materials Liquid Gravity by name.
So I apologise for my little slip up while we were watching that. That looks perfect.
Yeah.
But when that rocket hot, every time they put that in, I'm thinking watered down PVA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even just PVA. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know how thick it'll be. You want it to run into. But see, when people are saying about like pellets and things, the problem with pellets is that, obviously where you've got circles, you've got a lot of air. That looks like tiny, tiny square circles.
Yeah.
I think I just accidentally played the video again. There we go. So that looks ideal. So how much did you say it was?
£8.50 for 500 grams.
That seems a lot of weight. So I think that's actually not that. I think the amount of weight we'll use is actually going to be less than. So I'm just.
It's only going to be about 1 or 2 teaspoons, with 3 teaspoons.
Yeah.
And that to me is, if you're going to buy that on its own, that's a bit expensive for 3 teaspoons at £8.50. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go and buy plasticine or you're going to buy bearings, you're going to be spending £3 or £4 on the bearings. It sounds to me like it'll weigh, like per millimeter, I think it'll weigh more than the bearings will. And maybe we could pass that around between us.
True. I'll have a look at it, and when I get home, and I'll do some experimenting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly prepared to give that one a look at that price.
Okay, I've got a list of stuff that I've got that's in the test bed, if you know what I mean.
Sorry, Adrian's just sent me. Is that what you're laughing back at? Oh, I thought you were laughing back. Adrian sent me this palette, which I think is quite funny. There we go. It's a drinks holder palette. I think he's thinking along the lines of our little competitions we're going to have. So we'll have this palette, and then we'll put some water in there or something, and you get bonus points for not spilling the water.
You want to try and maybe get an egg cup holder then, put on it then, and balance an egg.
Is that a remix, do you think? Find out in a minute when this loads up. Thingiverse is slow at the best of times, but when I'm streaming, it's even slower. Actually, waiting for Thingiverse. Actually comes with quite a few files. Right, remix from Euro palette, different scale. Right, so that's 2 files for me to look at then. Right, so Horlicks, your thoughts? You've been very quiet.
No, yeah, it looks good. I think I did try and I was trying to explain, but I wasn't heard at all.
I'm so sorry, Horlicks. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I had the link up and everything. I said, I'm sharing it. But no.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think that looked quite good. I saw the price. It was quite expensive.
Right.
But
so what? Which
I think
one
if we're going to share it around, then like you said, I think even if we all put a couple of quid in each or something to buy a big one.
Yeah, we probably won't need 100 grams each, would we?
Oh no.
So if we shared out 5 ways, that's a couple of quid each.
Yeah.
So
let me buy some and do my test bed, and we'll work out what looks best.
Because I suppose we could probably bag eggs, and then or you've got a mold shapes of them.
Yeah. So which of those counterbalance versions do you like, Horlicks? A box, a barrel, or the bearings, or something else?
I quite like the idea of the box.
Yeah.
But equally, the barrel looks good as well.
Yeah.
So I think anything's going to look better than just some bearings hanging off the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, Dave's pretty much confirmed that just having bearings isn't going to be unrealistic. I'll just stop a sec and say goodbye to Dave. So take care, Dave. Thank you very much for watching, and we understand your dog your dog's walking needs are more important than getting to sleep. So you have a great evening and have a great day at work tomorrow.
Yeah, see you later, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
So yeah, Dave's confirmed that the bearings wouldn't be an unrealistic look, and I wouldn't have a problem with bearings, but I would kind of like something that looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing. I've never ever seen a tractor driving around with a toolbox on the front.
I have.
But yeah, there you go. But then again, I haven't spent most of my life looking at tractors.
Yeah.
So, when I say I've seen tractors, I mean I've seen about 4 or 5 of them, and most of those have been driven on the road.
Yeah.
So, but most of the tractors that I see are from dairy farms, and you get the crop fields, but obviously what I'm seeing is just a very small proportion of what the farmer's seeing. So
Yeah.
I'm not really an authority on what looks realistic and what doesn't on a tractor, but I mean, it sounds very practical. If you've got a massive field that's, I don't know, 1,000 acres or whatever, and your tractor breaks down in the middle of the field, and it's just something like a loose fan belt or something, do you really want to have to walk all the way back to your farmhouse to get the hammer that could just as easily be put in the tractor somewhere? So it sounds very practical to me.
Yeah, one of the farms I used to work at had a few tools in the cab, incredibly.
Yeah.
And they were just kicking about the floor of the cab. And but generally a little tractor would only have a small toolbox somewhere on the wing, perhaps at the side of it.
Yeah.
But I have seen and have used tractors with a square box on the front that acts both as a toolbox and as a weight, a counterweight.
Yeah.
And that's simply the idea that you have a weight underneath and then a false bottom and then a toolbox sat on top.
Yeah.
Generally, weights are bolted on in separate, couple of stones of a piece or something, or heavier.
Like dumbbell weights, aren't they?
Yeah, like dumbbell weights. They're bolted on separately.
Yeah.
Some weights, incredibly, on some modern tractors, weigh more than a ton.
Really?
On the front, yeah. So they're in all shapes and sizes on the front of tractors. Some of them are round to give you that little bit more aerodynamic, if you wish, and to make the tractor look a little bit better on the front. And you'd put them on in slices.
That's it. Yeah.
You'd maybe put them on 3 or 4 slices in the middle, and then put extra on round, to make them more if you wanted more, depending on what you were hanging on the back end of your tractor.
I think Horlicks is just sharing something with us.
Yeah.
That's a
a big box, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big box.
Whoa, that's a bit killer, but yes.
I was thinking small, unobtrusive box, but that's a box, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so big, it's got to have its own headlights, like.
Yeah. And that, of course, is due to regulation.
Right. What? Because,
But
the headlights.
But this is actually for sale on. This is actually for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll buy one so we can copy it, shall we? So, Dave, if you were building this, Dave, which counterweight would you be looking at then?
The square box.
Square box. And what about you, Adrian?
For a square box.
So I think the conclusion then from all of us is, let me just get Fleetwood up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, that was more the sort of box I was thinking of, Fleetwood, until
they're
No, those are
actually
counterweights.
individual weights.
Yeah. So what I'll do then at some point, I don't know when, I will download that box. I'll print it off. And we will look at how, I mean, we won't really be able to sort of take it further until we've built the front of the tractor so we know what we're dealing with size-wise. But I think we've got a lot of potential in that box because we can scale it up then.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, the reason why I said about donuts on the side is if you're having axles going through,
yeah,
then we put the say we use the liquid gravity, we're going to have a cavity where the tubes are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The tubes will be empty, so we lost weight there.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to do is to place two little parts of an axle that will slot into the counterbalance, so that as the counterbalance comes on, it grabs it. Because there's two, it won't rock.
No.
And we may possibly need to glue it or screw it in.
Yeah. I would put two M2s in, or one M2 with a nut and bolt inside the box.
Well, I would prefer, if we're going to screw it in, I would prefer to use an M3 countersunk screw.
Okay, well, M3, M2.
Go flush. But saying that, the button head, and one thing I did notice about this, I keep dropping pieces. Fleetwood, you might not have a counterbalance. It might be on my floor. So, right. What I noticed about this, there's an awful, let me just grab the view. There is an awful lot of screws on the bottom there.
Yeah.
They actually look quite attractive, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have looked better with countersunk screws. Maybe
but they're underneath, aren't they? So it's not going to notice, is it?
But they're not ugly, are they?
No.
Which is what I like about them.
If it's a slot, basically, you don't want a can shunt through.
You don't want
a flat. You want to yes. If you've got a groove, you need to adjust it. Like the motor section, because you need to move the motor backwards and forwards. Because soon you put the can sunk one in, we'll create a mark on the plastic. And each of you need to move it a millimeter.
Right.
I tell you what, you could
end up going back to the...
Yeah, true. Yeah, go on. Sorry. Yeah,
that's why I'm saying with painting counter screws, not on the motor one, but all the rest you could.
Right. Okay. A very, very important question I've got to ask. I'm going to change the subject. I do apologise. Dave Bassett, how are you? Good evening. Just got back from Birkenhead. Watched the Wickham draw. I was watching that on the sports report and looked quite well. Judging by the scoreline, looked quite exciting. Was it a good game? And do you think, on the basis of today, we'll win the replay? We're doing all right for cup games. We've got something like 4 cup games within a couple of weeks. Shame we lost against Fulham, but Fulham are Fulham, aren't they? They're under 21s are pretty much senior players, aren't they? All pushing, and there's a reason Fulham are in a higher division than us. So anyway, sorry about that. So I will work on the box. I don't know how long it will take. I may actually have to assemble some of the tractor, but when it comes to the actual weight, we really won't know until we actually assemble more of the tractor. We can then put the lift. Whilst we put the lifter on, we can put the pallet on, and let's see how much weight we can put on before the whole thing tips. Then we can start looking at how much weight we need on the front. You know, perhaps look at crevices where we can add extra weight. So, you know, although you said the counterweights go on the wheels, go on the outside, perhaps we can actually fill that inside there with a little bit of liquid gravity. You know, that will add a little bit. But how much will that add just by putting that little bit? I mean, there's not a lot in there. It's probably a teaspoonful will go in there.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much that will weigh it down. But it looks like and obviously if we're counterbalancing this without the battery in, then when we add the battery, it'll add that much more weight to it, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget we've got the rest of you got the receiver, haven't you, and the rest of the wiring.
The receiver's not going to weigh that much.
But I'm just saying,
if we're using our idea of I haven't got a hood to hand. No, I haven't got a hood to hand, but we were looking at Velcro. You've got the bottom of the nose, and that will come up quite high, and you've got all the electronics and the battery goes in. What I was looking at was getting some Velcro, put a couple of Velcro dots on the underside of the hood, and then put a couple of the other side dots on the battery. So we actually put the battery in the hood. But if we actually attach it so that the base of the battery is pretty much touching the front badge, the further forward we can get that battery, the more it'll pull down and work against any weight on the back. Because obviously, to show you the theory I've got, if I can roughly balance this, if I put this there, it's not affecting the weight. If I put it there, you can see it's tilted, but not very much. But if I put this right on the end, see how it doesn't stand a chance. So the further forward, I pressed something on the keyboard as that went down. It's done a find on something and found 559 instances. And I think I've just lost them. That really wasn't a good demonstration, was it? When you reckon half of your bedroom to demonstrate something. But yeah, so Velcroing. So there's a lot of little tricks we can actually do, really, isn't there? Other than building a balance, a counterbalance. So good evening, Ryan Johnson. I don't remember the name. Are you a first-time viewer, or have you commented before? If you have commented and I've forgotten, I really do genuinely apologize. I'm not 17 with a brilliant memory anymore. Anything else? Dave's obviously not going to add anything because he's on mute.
Sorry, I was just seeing what our lad was up to.
No, it's fine. When you are, if you're talking to us on mute, you know, we'll see your lips moving, and you're like, well, is he talking to us? Or so obviously things happen around the house, and people hit the mute button on purpose. But yeah. Right, so my job for the week, apart from continuing to do prints for everybody, I'm going to download that box, get that printed off. We'll look at developing a little false bottom for it so we can fill that full of plastic. Are you actually going to buy the plastic thing? Are you actually going to buy the liquid gravity then?
I've done it.
You've done it. Do you want me to make a little contribution to?
Well, wait for the moment. See.
Right. Obviously, if we're experimenting with it, then there's going to be quite a bit of wastage, isn't there?
Yeah. So, if you can, Penny, try and just print one of them the prototype box. Try and print it roughly to size,
Yes.
And then I can fill it, and then I can see what the difference is.
Yeah, I would be really, because I say if you can, I'll send these boxes. Well,
Yeah.
I'll send them with your parts. But
Yeah.
if you can fill each box with something different,
Yeah.
take some weights.
Yeah.
You know, fill one with sand, fill one with garden soil.
Well, I've got sand, polyfiller, gravel, wacky one, flour.
Flour?
Flour, you know.
Flour,
Yeah.
just flour. Is that
Just
very
flour.
heavy? I guess that wouldn't. See, yeah, this would be quite good because when you go, right, this is the list of stuff I filled it with, we'll all be sitting there and in our mind we'll be making a little order, or flour will come in 5th and this will come in 1st, and then what'll probably happen is the one that you think is the heaviest might come in 2nd. Flour, which you think might come in 6th, will probably come in 4th, and you'll go, oh, it's not the best, but I'm really surprised it got that high.
Yeah.
And I don't go sort of really, really stupid and go, let's put feathers in. But
I've got rice as well.
Rice.
Yeah.
Rice would be a good one, actually, because rice is used as a measurement for silicon. If you wanted to fill that full of silicon or resin or something, and you want to know how much silicon to make up, you fill it full of rice, then you tip the rice out and you weigh the rice, and that's how much silicon you need.
Yeah.
So silicon, and so maybe we could price up silicon, because silicon weighs roughly the same as like grains of rice. Right. So that might be, but I think silicon might be quite expensive. Because I remember when I was looking into making molds, it wasn't the resin that was expensive, it was making the mold that goes around it. So like if you copied a sprue, it would probably cost you like 5p a sprue to make, but the first one would cost you like 20 quid, because the resin is actually there's not so much of it and it's quite cheap. Right, so well, thank you for watching, Ryan. Hello to Harvey De Niro. Am I right in thinking you've got your live streaming ban lifted? I think I've seen a couple of your live video or seen notifications come up. Harvey De Niro, very naughty boy he is. I think, if memory serves me right, he got like a 90-day live streaming ban for infringement of copyright. I think it's that. But if copyright infringement it's a funny little thing with YouTube. It could mean having a TV program on in the background, couldn't it? Or it could mean out and out broadcasting someone else's music. So yeah. Right, so I can't think of anything else. I think we got some good mileage out of that, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
Basically the whole show was based around insert 4 nuts and 4 screws. End of show. Hours later.
Next week it'll be cooking with Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Or math lesson by Fleetwood, you know what I mean? Weights and measures by Fleetwood, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that'll be a fun experiment. There will be quite a lot to do next week because, I say quite a lot to do. We're going to be doing the leveler. Let me find the page. So I suppose we'll better go through parts that we need to buy. So if you don't mind, I'm going to do a screen share. Are you right there, Horlicks? You've gone very quiet again.
I'm actually really tired.
I've had a really tough day at work. It's not been hard, it's been tough. Right, so I'll show you the parts next week, but we're going to be printing off the leveler body, some wheel rims, some wheel arms, a wheel block, and another universal hook. So there's one part there you've already seen. And then we've got some rubber pieces. Now you've seen the short rubber pieces. The leveler rear rubber is exactly the same as a side rubber, but it's longer. And the leveler tires, oh, they are so cute. They're so small, aren't they?
Mm.
And they are just really cute. So they will all be needed for next week. There's no electronics needed for next week, but there are 4 lots of screw, some nylock nuts and 3 lots of button screws. They won't be used next week, but as you can see from the budget, £14.51. If we, £11 of that is screws. Let's get the screws. Well, we've got, a little bit left over budget. And that will still keep us 66 pence over budget. So let's have a look at the electronics for 4 weeks in front. So we have got servo reverser. So this is £1.49 from Banggood. It is on the parts list, listed as 115, which is there. You will actually need 2, but why have I? Oh, is it £1.49 for? I might have done the wrong price on that. So you won't see this tab, but I'm just checking the price. Load up. Right, the servo reverser at today's price is £1.41. Now I put it down as £1.49. I think I may have made a mistake there because you do need 2. So I am going to, what I say, £1.41. That's £2.82. So that might just cock up my. Yeah, it does push us over budget, but not in total. You'll also need some SMD orange lights, which, yeah. Okay, so do you remember, did I show you the SMD orange lights or the SMD lights? The little tiny LED lights?
Mm.
They were purchased on eBay. I don't know if I've got the link for them. Let me have a look. Right, I haven't put the link on, or did I put it right at the bottom? I think I did one called optional extras. There we are. Right, so I've put the link in if you look at the list of the parts list, right at the bottom I've made a new section called optional extras, and you see there's a link there for eBay. 20 pieces they're all ink rollers. There are actually 20 of them. So they come in packs of 20. You can get warm white, bright white, orange, or red, and they're £6.99 for 20. So 1 pack. I'm actually going to be going for red and orange. So if you look at parts by week, next week we'll need the red ones, but and then the last thing is the 8x12 by 3.5 bearings, which is part 102B. So 102B is, these are the bearings that we will, we should already have these. That's interesting. Right, 8x12 by 3.5. We've already bought these. So that's wrong, my list. So let's remove that. So we've added in changed the price of the servo reverse and removed the bearings. If you remember, these are 1 of 18 that we've bought. So we needed 2 packs. So I think what we're going to use them for in that particular week, week 10, yeah, we'll be doing the front wheels. And this will be for the trailer. So there we go. So waffled on a bit there about that, didn't I? So we've got lots of parts we're going to, well, a few parts we're going to print. We should get this done in 3 print beds unless you're going to change the colors. We need 4 packs of screws that we won't actually be using. And then we need to order a servo reverser so that we get, because it's going to take a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks to come. So we need to get that ready for week 10. And to be honest with you, those SMDs, you don't really need them much more than a week in advance, because it is it's a British seller on eBay. I think I got mine in about 4 days. Okay, so how many people did I just send to sleep there?
No.
Okay. Yeah, but Dave, you're a complete geek like me, aren't you? You loved every word of that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Horlicks is dead by the looks of it. Oh, no, he's live. Yeah, he's live. Right. So, to be honest, I'll let you into a little secret. Horlicks didn't take any notice of that because he just goes, Penny, what do I need to order now? And then I just sort it out for him. I said, Horlicks, you don't actually buy it. You just go, oh, what do I need now? Don't you? And I tell you. So you don't need to keep looking at the spreadsheet. So, Horlicks, anything else to add? I'm going to close the show now. It has whopped on a bit. So, you're happy with the build so far?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a shame, you know. It's like, well, I say just a shame. When you first start a build, you know, you don't get an awful lot at the beginning. It's not until we get to about halfway through that we're all going to get excited every week. So, right. So, Fleetwood, anything else?
Well, I've got 8 things now to weigh.
That'll do. We've got 2 more boxes to do then.
I've just bought on eBay a 50-gram sample bag of polygranules.
Polygranules, what are they for?
It's like silicon granules, but grounded plastic.
Okay.
You know, like your 3D prints that have been minced up. Do you know what I mean? So.
Oh, right. So it's the raw 3D print filament.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That should be
liquid gravity, flour, rice, sand, polyfiller, gravel, and I just thought the last one was a wacky one, hot glue gun.
Hot glue gun, what a good idea. Be careful with that though, because
we don't want to melt the plastic.
It might melt the PLA, yeah. Actually, do the glue gun, because I'd like to know if it will melt the plastic.
That's why I put question marks after it, if you know what I mean.
No, I mean, listen, right? If you fill a box up with glue gun,
yeah,
and it melts it, then that's a result, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, saying do not use this is a result, because someone might go, oh, I know, I'll fill it up with glue gun. That'll be a lot easier. What about if I chuck you a couple of quid? And you pop yourself down Poundland, and I get you some super glue.
Super glue. I've got plenty of it.
No, I'll get you some. So I've just bought some the other week. I think it's 5 or 6 tubes. The number of tubes you get is going down as the years go on. I think you used to get 10, and then it went down to 8, and I think you get about 7 or 8 now. But I'd like to know how tedious it is to fill it. You know, get a tube. How many tubes would you? I mean, I don't.
I would use PVA more than super glue.
PVA would do it all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So PVA do with how long would it take PVA to dry?
24 hours.
What? Yeah. Even a thick. I mean, we're talking about a big amount here, aren't we?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Belongs the top is sealed. The rest underneath can cure as long as it takes. Do you know
Whenever,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that would be interesting then, PVA.
See, what I would do is say, like the sand, I would mix the sand in the PVA so it makes like a concrete, pack it in,
let it
dry, and then I would put a layer of PVA over the top of that as well.
Seal that in, yeah. Good idea, yeah. I'm just trying to think of anything else.
No, I'm looking around the kitchen going.
I'm just looking around and thinking, what can we do?
Baked beans.
Although you could actually, who? Sorry, Horlicks.
No, so you can put baked beans in it.
Baked beans.
Okay.
Whatever you put in your cupboard.
But yeah, you're going to do flour and rice, and obviously the rice would need to be sealed in with something. So
PVA again.
PVA is
with PVA.
a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be like a mini cooking lesson in my kitchen when I get home.
Would you do a compound of rice and PVA, or would you just pour the rice in and then just put a layer of PVA over the top?
No, I'll just get a mixing bowl, chuck PVA in with the rice and you know.
Okay.
You could use what was I going to say? Horlicks. That's quite sandy.
You do know from now on your name is Mr. Sandy.
Hot chocolate.
Right,
it depends, you know what I mean, whatever you want to put in there, do you know. But you got to be careful with certain food stuff that it don't go off and then it starts smelling.
Yeah. And then you got little fruit flies and things flying all over your tractor.
Or you got a local rat or mouse having an attack at your tractor because it's so tasty and fun.
You could be the Pied Piper of Fleetwood. Drive your tractor through town, attracting all the rats.
I won't get that far. I'd get outside my door and there'd be a bloody seagull with a baseball bat.
Oh, God,
Kill me.
It'll steal your tractor, won't it?
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Right, okay then. So I'm gonna close the show then. We've all got our little jobs to do. Dave, just stay intelligent. Don't lose your marbles. We need you.
I will.
We have to find a job for Adrian. Oh, Adrian just finds all the mods for me to do. I've got a list of about 200 mods.
Well, that's called Adrian Brains.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And then
back up Brains, isn't it?
Horlicks, you can just be Horlicks, getting yourself sorted out and just building.
Yeah. I'm ready, steady cook.
Ready, steady cook. Ainsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to organise with new names for next week then.
Blue
Right.
Peter.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to let you all say your goodbyes and then I will finish the stream.
All right, I'll go first then. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to be back here next week.
Yep. Join us all in this madhouse, but we'll all have fun. So looking forward to next week and have a bit of fun. So good night for me, and thanks for having us.
And me as well.
Good night. See you all next week. Yeah, have fun.
But
Do you want to say goodbye, Adrian?
I was saying it about the Horlicks, so I basically stopped. Good night, all, and thank you for joining the stream.
Okay, take care, guys. I'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.